Hey guys, Ryan from Review Trigger. Thanks for joining the demo. I'm going to walk you through our product. And as you guys are looking at, our product or any other review capture software, the thing to kind of think about here as you're kind of implementing this into your own business is two things. One is strategy. So think of review capture just like you would any other marketing tactic you use or any really type of business decision you move. You really want to make sure that you're being strategic with how you do it. So regardless of the type of business you're in, we all have like a sweet spot of when we should ask a customer for a review, kind of that peak excitement period, or that really good customer when you're face to face with them again, and use that as kind of the time that you want to ask for the review. And the second thing to think about is how to implement it into your business so that it's very seamless or effortless. So as you're training your employees to do this, or if you're doing it yourself, is it an automated thing? Is it a one-click thing? That very much differs business by business. So as you're kind of thinking about those two things, I want to show you a case study because it's really a good way to illustrate really what the difference between small tweaks in the strategy are and in terms of how the output comes. So this case study that we're looking at here, this is my business. This is why Review Trigger exists. We do pedaling pub crawl tours in Milwaukee, Nashville. We also do boats. We're pretty much in tourism. And obsessed with reviews because in tourism, our TripAdvisor ranking is so important with just the amount of leads it can generate for us. So if you look at here, 2015 versus 2017, just the conversion percentage of how many reviews we get, the customer count didn't really change a whole lot. It grew, but not significantly based on the output and reviews. So I want to break this down for you. So because this is core stuff to understand as you kind of implement it. So in 2015, what we did is we set up an email automation sequence. The day after they did the tour with us, we'd send them an email review request. And what we saw was about a 5.6% conversion. And when we looked at this at the end of the year, because I thought I had come up with the world's greatest review capture strategy, the thing that really stood out to me was the open rate on those emails was so low. And this is back in 2015. It's even lower now. When you're thinking about that email open rate, it's about 13%. So the next year, what we did is we switched it up to text message because we saw the text message open rate so much higher. And we got a nice little lift, but it wasn't, again, that significant. We only got it up to about an 8%. With text message, your open rate is, they say, depending on which stats you're looking at, between 90 and 98%. The other thing with text message to keep in mind is, like I said earlier, you really want a time when you hit that person with a review request. The average email is open 20 hours after send, and the average text message is open 5 minutes after send. So if you're really trying to get that timing across, text message is definitely the way to go. Now, in 2017 to 2016, I made a really small tweak, but it had a really big impact on the business. And what I did is in 2016, I only cared about TripAdvisor reviews. So I was only asking for TripAdvisor reviews. In 2017, I started to use the review page and had Google, Facebook, and TripAdvisor. So I was giving a broader spectrum of choices to the customers. And then when we did the research, we realized that only 12% of people have ever left a TripAdvisor review. So I was really asking a small segment of the population. Now, when you combine Google, Facebook, and then just like any other niche site like TripAdvisor, typically you're getting close to the 70% sample size, the audience sample size. So you're really asking a way bigger slice. And that is why we had significantly higher conversion rate on really a pretty similar amount of tours. So here's how we do it in Milwaukee. And again, like I said, every business is different. You got to think about how you want to implement it. So for us, we have a lot of people coming. We have a lot of tours. On Saturdays, between the bikes and the boats and the kayaks, we have almost 1,000 people coming down. So we have to have an automated sequence just because we don't have time to physically send them out one by one by one. So what we do is we send out appointment reminders. This is a nice little 2-for-1 marketing and customer service automation stack, because when we send out these appointment reminders, we eliminate the inbound messages and phone calls from the customers. So in the morning, we'll send this out. Happy paddle day. This is for our boats. Check in 30 minutes early. Give them the address. They call all the time and ask for that. Can you bring drinks? BYOB allowed. 3 per rider is a good fit for the coolers. A lot of groups overpack. Upon arrival, come directly to our check-in station near the water and drop off drinks and snacks, to-go beers and drinks available from the starting bar. 30 minutes after the tour, we send out, thanks for boating with us. we'd absolutely love if you left us a quick online review. They're so helpful for our new business. And then the link. So the review trigger links, we always host them as quickreview.co with some sort of discriminator. We do that so that the pages are flexible if you want to build it into a different type of software. In this case, an appointment reminder, other cases, a CRM, any type of texting communication app, or if you text directly with your customers, you could set up a text replacement so you could quickly populate a nice little thank you paragraph with the link to your review page. So it's really just a few clicks. That's kind of the key, is less effort, easy for you, easy for your customer, more reviews. One thing I want to show you, because again, we're always thinking about strategy here, is we put this little PS. If you give your captain or mate a shout out in the review, they get an extra tip from the owner. What we started to realize is our customers, just based on the tour, their interaction that they have is with our drivers or with our boats, with our skippers or captains. And they form a nice little relationship after being out on the water or out on the bike with them for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And that's what we want to leverage, is the relationship that they've had with the product and the person involved with our company. And then, magically, when I started giving $10 cash tips to all of my drivers when they got name drops, it's amazing how much better they were at verbally teeing up the review request to the customers, even though I'd been telling them to do that forever. Now, that is part of it. So if you verbally tee up a review request and you text it to them, like in that same kind of short window, it's amazing what a simple little verbal tee up can do in terms of your conversion. Massive impact. Always do that. And it also keeps you in line with text message compliance, which we'll get to in a sec. So with those kind of thoughts in mind and looking at a case study, I do want to point out one other customer. Now this guy right here, he does wine tours out in Napa Valley. Great guy. If you're ever out there, recommend checking him out. If you look at him, and I know this is kind of hard to see, he's number 1 out of 379 food and drinks on TripAdvisor. So he's in a super competitive category. The TripAdvisor algorithm, very much like the Google algorithm, it's reviews, it's number of reviews, average score, and then consistency. So you really want to consistently get reviews. It's a way that you can take a small business like he is. He's just a two vehicle fleet, and he's going up against places out in Napa with 30, 40, 50 vehicles, and he's still number 1. So what he's doing is he's very strategic with the review request, and he's also small and nimble. So he has time to put a little extra cherry on top of the review request. So what he does is when he takes out groups, he takes group photos of them in each winery. At the end of the tour, he thanks them for coming. He's like, I got some great shots of you guys. I'm going to text them to you. He texts them the review request with those photos, and then he's got them in his car for about a half hour on the way back to the Airbnb. So it really plays into his hand. But what I'm saying is, if you can do anything like what he's doing, it really works. Like if I was any type of remodeling business, I would do before and after photos, text a thank you message with that before and after. You're creating, not only are you creating kind of like an extra like thank you gift of sorts, they're probably going to open that text message several times to show people. So if they didn't see that review request on the first time, they'll eventually see it. The other thing is you're creating great content for your customers to share online, or for you, especially if, like a before and after photo to use on your Instagram feed, your Google Photos feed, anything like that, website. All of that stuff is great content to have. And then you're getting more reviews. It's such a simple thing. There's apps where you can do those before and after. Super simple to do. So with that, I want to jump into our platform here so you can see it. So whenever you guys log into your portal, it always comes to funnels first. And I want to point out a couple things here. Again, we're always thinking about conversions, little tweaks we can make to the conversion sequence. What we do is we host these pages as landing pages. It allows us a couple things. First, it looks really clean and simple on a screen. It's got the hover color for the call to action. The other thing is we're using 2 different Google links here, and we're using 2 different TripAdvisor links. What we're doing is we can actually tell if they're logged into the page as it loads. That's one of the biggest parts of this, is if they're logged in, they're way more likely to complete the review than if they're not. So like if you look at e-commerce, they report when a customer has to log in, and that's why a lot of times you're seeing Pay with Amazon, Apple Pay. The bounce rate is 30%. So with reviews, it's probably even higher because they're not trying to buy something for themselves. So having this device detection, super important, small little tweak that you might not think about, massively impacts your conversion boost. The other thing is, like I mentioned earlier, is having that multiple sites. You're giving that broader audience. One thing that we do hear from customers all the time, and we built a feature in response to that, is like, I get that I should be using multiple sites, but seriously, I just care about Google reviews. I get that. And we agree. Google reviews for most businesses are more impactful than other review sites. So you see how it says you're logged in right here? What we did is, if that pulls as the page is loading, if we can detect their cookies and we know they're logged in, we know that they have a high propensity that they'll leave a Google review. So what we can do is, when they click the score on the other side, I'm going to open the customer facing link here. When they click that, what it does is it skipped all those sites and it goes right to Google. And then it pulled my cookies here. So when I hit write a review, boom, I'm logged in, making it super easy for the customer to leave the review. And it'll skew more reviews towards Google if that is something you're interested in. The other thing I want to show you here inside the dashboard, and I'm keeping it simple, I'm just going to hit some of the key stuff here, is, I talked about making it easy for your staff and you to request a review. So automation is great, but it's not for everybody. At certain businesses, there is no automation timing that's perfect. Maybe you're in construction and you have to come back to a job site a couple times, or the appointment might be 1 hour, it might be 7 hours. It's hard to time that automation. So maybe you want to send it one by one, or maybe you're worried about sending it to certain customers because of an issue that you're going to resolve. You don't want that thing to automate. You want to send it at that sweet spot time. So if you go to your dashboard here and you go to review requests, what we recommend doing is using what we call our magic link. And then I'm going to copy and paste this. As you look at this, you see how this has a token. Basically, it has a login and password built into it. So you can give this to your staff. They never have to log into it, and they don't have access to anything else in your account. Or you can put it on your device. Maybe it's like your computer next to your cash register. So it's simple, a one-click open right to the message. Super simple. You just put the customer name. If you've got their data up in another platform adjacent, copy, paste it. Just got to put the first name in for text message, and then their phone number. I'm going to send myself one here. Hit send, and then you'll get this blue box, which means it's been sent. And I'll show you on my phone here. It usually takes about a few seconds. I already got it. Super simple. Send a review request quickly, easily by sending it. Oh, and I actually sent this from a different client because I have it bookmarked. Super simple to do. And you get the area code of your choosing. I hope that helps. This is pretty much 90% of our product to get you off the ground. We do have some other features deeper. I have other videos to kind of go deeper with you, but this is the one to kind of just get you going. And happy review request. Get out there and start snagging them.